So without further ado, here's Michelle.
Thank you. Forgive me in advance because I sometimes say stupid things. But I do want to say that SWODA is doing a fabulous job of raising awareness. So thank you, Steve. Thank you, Deshauna. I wrote down a few things that really scare me. Let's see if I can read my card. Cannabis-induced psychosis. False memories. Likely to lead to schizophrenia. Reduction in IQ. That really scares me. I want all the points I can get. And this was actually the scariest. Depersonalization and derealization. Let me ask you this. How many of you believe that society has really gotten better in the past 20 years, past 30 years? I think we have had a lot of intelligence that has grown. Our access to information is better. Our young people are so smart. They have so much information. My kids educate me every day on things I never knew about. There's things that they can tell me about that I never even knew I was interested in. Everyone's so smart and they're so good at technology. And industry has advanced so much. But where have we gone behind? The simple word is, we're meaner. People are meaner. Looking at the internet and seeing how many people say hateful things. Politicians, hate, spewing just anger, filth. It's a very emotional place to be, but why are they so angry and mean? Depersonalization, derealization. And so the more people are able to depersonalize what's going on, they are, of course, desensitized to others' feelings. I remember forever saying, I wish we could just teach empathy in schools. If we can just put other children in other people's shoes so they learn from people's mistakes, they learn how others are feeling, everyone will behave a little bit better. But that's not going on. We're not getting a larger sum of empathetic children. We're getting more people that are less inclined to think, how will this affect the other person? If I put this on the internet and tell someone to die or tell someone what I think about them, how's it going to make them feel? And so those are some of the negative effects of marijuana and opioids. It doesn't happen to everybody, but out of all that list, the psychosis, the lessened IQ, the other mental health issues, even addiction, depersonalization and derealization is the number one effect. We talk about a lot how 20 years ago, the doctors, without knowing, and the drug manufacturers, maybe knowing, politicians, legislators, they started to market these opioids, not knowing what would be happening, what we'd be learning 20 years later and how the effect was. Maybe some of them know. I don't think the doctors really knew. I don't think the legislators really knew. Did the drug manufacturers know? Probably, but that's why they're sued now. But now we're looking at a different range. Do we really know how the use of marijuana is really going to affect everybody? Do we know? Are doctors able to tell us whether or not this is going to cause a lessened IQ, psychosis? But can you look at someone and say, are they depersonalizing? Are they derealizing? Opioids, they numb the receptors. Of course there's that depersonalization. If you've got pain, you want to numb it. That's what many of the marijuana prescriptions are for, to minimize that pain, calm the anxiety, lessen depression, all those things. But don't we really want to feel our world? Isn't it better if these children do feel our world? Because that's how empathy is created. And so the thing that scares me the most about society is having too many people that don't have the ability to feel things. Some of the worst pain I've ever been through. Worst pain I've ever been through is when I lost my mother. Worst pain. And it was probably a couple of weeks of denial and thinking that she's really going to come back, and there's those phases you go through. But if I did not work through it, if I did not feel the pain, I don't think I would have honored her as much, number one. I think all of us that lose someone very close to us believe that feeling the pain is actually a recognition of them, an honoring of them. But it's also to make sure that our bodies can heal. I've had a neck injury for about 20 years. I'm actually getting my second procedure done this Thursday. But I want to feel it whenever I'm in pain, because that's how I know that something is wrong. If I'm not able to feel something, how am I going to know that something is wrong? If I don't feel an emotion coming from someone who might be angry with me, how am I going to know that I've hurt them? If I don't feel the emotion from somebody who is doing something wrong to me, how am I going to recognize it and handle that issue? So I do hope that many more people start to realize that feeling the pain, physical, emotional, mental, those sort of things, it's not always a bad thing. I can understand there are situations, and I don't want to go and start raising big old red flags on every different thing, but I do think that everyone in this room probably agrees that it might be too fast right now. I think that it has, it's become more of an issue than we ever thought it would be when they legalized things. But since we have legalized, are things better now? Is our crime reduced? Are people nicer? Are people making more money? One thing that Deshauna didn't ask me to talk about is what I see in court. And even though marijuana is not illegal, it does have an effect on some things and decisions I make. If a person is in a custody battle, if I might be looking at one parent over the other. Do I look at that issue? Of course I do. I had someone tell me the other day that they do smoke regularly throughout the day. And they said, but at least I don't drink. And my thought was, and I surprisingly kept this to myself, is that I would not want someone to be drinking before work, or drinking while they're at work, or drinking that often. Do I want my doctor to be drinking before they have a meeting with me or surgery upon me? Do I want my kid's teacher to be drinking while they're at school, or before they teach my kid? Do I want the bus driver to drink before they are driving my children? So no, so yes, a lot of society does compare use of marijuana to alcohol, since they're both now legal, but does it make it better? So anyway, back to just the overall effect. I went to a conference one time and a speaker talked about, it was mostly about child removal process and what happens when a judge removes a child from the care of their parents. Devastating process, causes so much trauma for those kids. Every time I'm making a major decision like that, I have to put so much thought into that process. And I always think about these things. So the speaker talked about everyone making a list of 5 things that are so important to you that you can't live without. And you have to put them in order. So which one will be first? Children first, husband second, third job, fourth home. You can't really have a home without a job, so you have to kind of balance all those things. Children sometimes have things like their animals, their toys, their school. And so every time I'm removing a child from a home, I have to think about how much that I'm taking away. And of course, I'm taking away their parents, taking away their siblings, taking away their school, and taking away those things, and so leaving them with very little of what they can rely upon daily. And so then you wonder, a person who is struggling with a home that is got substance abuse rampant in it, what is on that top 5 list? What can they not live without? Is it part of those things? We have to get back to the basics and realize what are those important things and teach that. Because so many kids do see their family members who rely on substances, and they believe that is how I can get through hard times. And so making sure that we spread out awareness that, we want you to feel it. It is not so bad to feel pain. It's not so bad to feel anxious. I am anxious every minute of the day. That's why I word vomit so much and I say stupid things, is because I'm constantly anxious. I can go into a supermarket and I can automatically feel my heart rate raise. I've got tons of anxiety. And so, but I usually just, how I handle this, I tell people, I'm an idiot. I always say stupid stuff. I always say something inappropriate, I promise you. But we have to learn how to make people aware of that, because I tell you what, there's people like Jimmy Schrein back here, who's my drug court coordinator, Callista. People, Steve, probably like me better because I'm not perfect. They probably like me better because I'm more real and I do say stupid, I'm gonna use the word crap, I think that I've almost slipped a couple times. But people like me better whenever I'm not this straight-laced person. And so everyone needs to relax a little bit and say, I can just be me. I might be an idiot, I might be anxious, I may say stupid things, I may be cranky on a moment, but I'm real. And that's what we're looking for from anybody. I do want to throw out some homage to Jimmy Shrum. He is the drug court coordinator, and what we're trying to do is open an office in Beckham County, where his office is currently at, to make it more of a hub. So SWODA is taking the lead there, and they're making sure that there's a lot of awareness out. Sometimes it is hard because of shame and the thought of having to lay down your feelings in front of somebody about what you're going through, and to reach out for that help. Find out, where are the meetings? Where can I go to get that help? That office in Beckham County is going to soon be a place where people can just go by, get information. If you don't know Jimmy, please meet him. He is a person that everyone likes, and no one, you won't be shamed by him. There's several people that are coming on the stage in a few minutes that I have so much respect for, and they have taught me so much about what people go through, and they just make me love people even more. So when you get up here, you'll see Eric Easter, Jimmy Cooksey, Cody Villegas, he's here too, Chris Smith, Daniel Palmer, coming up here to the stage to tell you about real life experiences and how they overcame. And to me, there is so much respect we should give them for many of you, for overcoming things, because so many people can't. And so there's a lot of pride that you should have in yourself for being able to have that ability to do that, and also to outreach. Jimmy, Cooksey, Eric, Daniel, Chris, y'all are all giving back to the community, and for that, you should be greatly honored and respected, and I appreciate you so much. Also, you're some of the most intelligent men I have ever met, and so I appreciate you so much. And so Deshaun, I think, is going to come up here and say a few more things about everybody. But thank you all for being here. Please spread the word, and if anybody needs additional resources, SWODA or Jimmy can give you that information. Go to some meetings. They all can talk about it. But just remember, we want to be real. Let's feel things. Let's start feeling things. Thank you.